Welcome to MacroCode. If you are new to this channel, consider subscribing. So today we are going to proceed with our video on Blazor. So we're going to enhance our application. So we did a video on how to create a student. So you're able to save a student record, registration, first name, all these details. Select the country, gender, and even the date of birth. Then we also did a parents form where you can save the parents details, select the gender, student, relationship, and even the date of birth. We also did one for adding new teachers. So you're able to select all these details and also tie it to the designation and even date of birth and the link of the social media handles. Then we have the countries. So you're able to save a country, add new country, and actually save it. So when you add all these details, then you are able to select them when you are adding students. So you're able to select a country that you've just added. Then system codes, we are saving all the system codes based on grouping. So for example, like gender, then we save the codes. You are able to select that this is gender, then you put in maybe female and male. So we say male, maybe you say female, male as well. So it's of type gender. So when you come to system codes details, you'll be able to see those options. For example, the designation, we have all these options as designation. So instead of having each of the tables, then we are lumping them here, then we are grouping it. Then we are going to use it on our application across the system. So today I want us to add something. So we are doing a students management system. So one thing that we need to do is we actually need to create courses and even the subjects. So for example, today I want us to cover creation of the subjects. So where do we start? As normal, we are going to create a model. So we are going to create a class here for subjects. So I'm going just to call it subject. So this is subject. Then we save. Then say this is public. So sorry. So this is public. So here we'll say public int id. Sorry, id. Then we'll do that. Then for the subject, we have to capture the name, subject name, and here we can say name. Then you can capture the subject description. So I want us also to add something on our application. So to add the description, then I want us also to have something. So I want us to create another class. On this class, I want us to call it created, or we can call it creation, or you can say it user creation activity. So user creation activity, I want us to append some data. So for this, I want us to do one. We just do public string. Then I'll say created. So created by ID. Then I want us to do that. Then I want us to add something. We say created by, then we say created on. So this will be date time. So these two fields, we'll be using them across our system. So what we need to do, come to the subject, then I want us to inherit these two fields. So we inherit that, so we'll be having those two fields on our subject table. So the next thing is to add this to our application DB context. So I'm going to add it to our application DB context. So I'll just add it here. So we're having a table for, so I'll just do public DB set. Then we just have our class. Then our table will call it subjects. because it will hold our subjects. Then after that, we are done with that. So I want us to add on our pages. I want us to add a folder for subjects. So let's just create a folder. We group it, then we call these subjects. So you can call it subjects. Then on the subjects, I want us to add some razor component. One of the razor component is add subject. Then another one will be subject list. I'll just copy that. I'll just add another one called subjects list. Then we also add another one for edit. So another razor component for edit subject. So we'll just do edit subject. Then once we are done with that, I want us to duplicate some of the options that we have been using. So I'll just copy the one for list of countries. I'll copy that, come to our subjects list. Then I'll replace. Then I'll just go now and updating. So I'll say this is subjects list, and we need to add new subject. Then our list will be subjects, loading subjects. Then down here, instead of, so we'll say this is all subjects. Then we'll have our subject here. Then this is our subject. So we'll call this subject. Then on initialization, we load all the subjects from the database. Then we'll just load it here. Then we are going to create a service. So don't worry about that. So then we are now going to loop through this collection. And then we'll say subject name. Then you can say subject description. Then we'll just do an edit. Then after that, this will be subject, and we are accessing every item within our list. So we'll just do, so actually we can say description, and remember we have added some items. So I want us to also do created on. And I want us also to say created by. So we actually show the activities and the person who created that. So we'll be duplicating this to our application across. So we'll just do that. Then we show the name, the description, and also we need to show the user and the timestamp. So we'll say created by and created on. So after that, so we'll be having only the edit section. Then we'll be passing our ID here. So for now, this will be subject, and then this is the ID. So we'll be loading, there is no subjects. So if there is no subjects, that is where we do. Then we should indicate that we are checking all the subjects here and even here. So after that, we need to ensure that the list here should be subjects list. Then there's an error down here. We need to ensure that we are adding. So this, we can comment this, then we'll come back on it. So after we have the list of subjects, we have to link these routes when adding a subject to an add form. And that brings us to the add subject razor component. So we are going to copy for the add country so that we are going faster. So if you are new to this channel, consider watching some of the videos previously, and you'll be able to get more about how we are doing this. So I want us to do it so that I don't create things, then you guys wonder how we came up with the whole solution. So we'll just do add subject. So this will take us to the add new subject form. Then if you scroll down, here we'll be having now our model, and here we will be doing our subject. So we'll be changing this even to a view model. So stay tuned. For now we will see this transformation of this app. So I'll just do here a subject, then add a subject. So I'll just do add subject, then down here I'll say create subject. Then on create subject, just have this here. Then our object will do here create. So we'll say subject name, then we'll bind, and we just do here name. So bind this and do name. Then I also do here name. Sorry. So then we'll also do another thing here. We'll say subject description. So this description will be based on, so we'll come from here. So we'll do description. Then there is also description. Then, sorry. So this is description. So you're getting that error if you don't give the correct names. So I'll just also provide it here. Then remember, I don't want to add the created by and the created on. That will be actually pre-populated by the application. So I'll just say save subject. Then down here, remember we are now using our object. So I'll just take this back here. Then instead of saying country, after saving the subject, it should take us back to the list. So our list navigation route is actually subjects list. So if you get back here and update these two. So once you update that, we need now to, so I want us actually to do the same for the edit. So for the edit, it kind of take the same approach. So I'll just copy that. Then we do edit subject. I'll be copying from the country. Then here we'll do subject. So when editing, we need to pass the ID for that particular record. So our root will be the subject, then edit, then we pass the ID. So let's modify the bottom. So we'll just, our model is the subject. Then here will be subject object. Then we're expecting a parameter ID from the root, that is the navigation. Then, so we'll say here load subject. So you're only getting a single subject that you want to modify. Then we also need to do an update subject. So this function, this method should be at the top here. We'll just update it here. Then I'll want to duplicate this. So instead of doing that, I'll just copy what you have on the add section. So because it's similar, so I'll just copy this. Then update on the edit. I'll just update that. Then our subject object now, we replace it here. Then the next thing, I want us to comment this, then you are just coming there. You can also comment this. So once you edit subject, it will take you back to the list, and the list navigation route is subjects list. So we need to update that as well. So after that, I want us to create a repository for our creation of the subject. So I'll be creating a repository here. I'll just do I subject repository. Then once I add that, so I'll be reusing what we have on the country. I'll just copy this, come to our I subject, then paste it here. Then I'll just now update this to subject. Then when I do that, I'll be updating all of them. So after I've done with that, see, this is not a class, it should be actually an interface, sorry. So once we do that, we need now to create the implementation service for this I subject repository. So I'm going to do I class, then instead of, I'll just remove I, then I'll just do that. Then I wanted to implement the I subject repository. Then I'm going to use what we have on the country service and just update. The methods are kind of the same. So I'll just copy that, then come to the subject and paste it here. So the only thing that I'm going to change is our constructor. Then I'm also going to change our models. But the other things kind of remain the same. So these will be subjects. And I always want this to be, let me see, for the teacher. Yes, I think the teacher one looks better. So I'll just copy it, then update instead of using the country one. So if I do that, I'm just updating our repository. Then here I'll just say country, not country, but subject. Subject. Then once we do the subject, I'll just do subject. Then here should be subjects. Then here should be subjects. Then here should be subjects. Then here is subject, getting all the subjects. So I'll just do subjects. Then I'll just remove that. Then I'll do here subjects. You're getting a subject by an ID. I'll just do subjects. Then here I'll do as well subject. Then this is subjects. So after I'm done with that, then I'll just come back now, come to my program.cs file, and I need to actually register my service. So I'll just do I subject repository is implemented by this service. So after that, for me to use this repository, I need to import it on my imports. So I'll just come here and inject. So I'll just inject it here. Sorry. So I'll say I subject. Then I'll say subject service. So once I have this, I'll now come to my pages, which now works easier. So I'll come to my pages. So under pages, then subjects. For me to add a subject, I need now to consume my service. So you remember this create subject, I just now have my subject service, then async, and I pass my object. Then it will be fine. When I come to the subjects list, this is loading all the list of the subjects. So I'll just do here, I'll just do, so I can just use this as data. This is data. Then I'll just do subject service, then we get all. Then I just do data, and this data, I now add it to my collection of subjects. Then after that, we'll be having a list of all subjects. The same thing should happen to our update razor component. So we should be having, updating, so we'll say here data. So this data should actually not be data, but subject model. So before you actually do anything, you need to retrieve the subject that you want to edit. That's why we are preloading it here. Then here we'll just use the subject service. Then you get by an ID, and the ID is the parameter that we received from this form at the top here. So after we've done that, we need to update it. So you've got the object with the data from the database, then you've manipulated. So after that, you need to return that data. So we'll just do subject service, then update, and we pass our subject object that you have actually updated. Then we navigate back the user to the list. So we've done that. So on the edit subject list, we need to change our edit. You remember this edits button. It needs to go to the subject edit, then pass the ID of that subject. Then for the subject list, for you to add the subject, you also need to pass the add subject navigation. When you click add new subject, it will take you to add subject. So I think we are now good, but the only thing that is pending is we need to add now a navigation to the pages. So how do we do that? Come to components, then navigation menu. Then I want us to add it at the bottom here. So we'll just do after the countries, then we add our subjects. So subject should take us directly to the list. So you just do subjects list. So I think that is it. So let's try to see how our application looks. So I'll just launch the app. And before actually we launch the app, sorry guys. So I want us to, you remember when we were creating our application, we added two fields, the created by and the created on. But those two fields, we did not include it on our form. So we need those two fields to be populated by the user who is logged in, and also take the timestamp at the time that that data is being committed to the database. So if you just check on our app, when you click subjects, it should take us to the list of all the subjects. But you see there are some things that you have not done, adding the migrations of our new table and actually updating the database. So what we need to do, we need to come to tools, then NuGet package manager console. Then we need to add the migrations. So we'll say add migration, then give the name of the migration. So I'm going to call it subjects initials. Then add the migration. It should generate the migration file. Then after adding the migration, we need to update to the database. So for us to update the database, we need to run one of the command called update database. So after that is successful, then we need now to run that command, update database. So if you run that command, our database will be updated with new table called subjects. So after that has been updated, we need to, so that is done, we need to ensure that on our repository service for the subjects, we need to ensure that when you click add, it is actually taking that add, then come here and say created by. I want us to just put in macro code, but we will be doing sessions on this app. So for now, let's just work with that, but we'll be checking this later. Then we'll do created on. Then I want us to get the timestamp. So I'll just do here date time dot now. So I'll just do that. Then our data should be updated. Then I'll also do on the update, I'll also do the same thing. So this update we should be having, so I think we can just leave that. We will be adding new fields for the modifications. So let's just launch our app now and see what happens. So if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing, like the video, comment down below. So we notice you guys are watching our video, like 90% of you are watching the videos, but you have not subscribed. So if you're one of them, please do so to help us reach more students and even experts. So if I click on subjects, I'll just go to now the list of subjects, but we'll see there is a loading subjects, there is no subjects list available. So if we click add subject, it will now give us an option to add the subject. So I'm going to add one of the subject called computer. Then I'll just say maybe computer studies. So if I click save, our data should be saved, and you can see it is now subject name. The subject is here, created by its macro code. Then the created on has been timestamped. I'll also create another subject called biology. Then we'll do biology studies. Then save. Our timestamp is there. Do another one for physics. I'll just do physics. Then I'll do physics studies. Save. Create another one for maths. So I'll just do maths studies. Then save it. Create another one for English. Just do English studies. Then save. Then you can do another one for history. Then we say history studies. So after we've saved that, you see now we are having all our records. Assuming we want to update the history. So if we click edit, it will pre-populate the subject name, history, and even studies. Then you say history. So we can say historical studies. If we save it, you'll see it is actually updated to historical studies. So that is it for today, guys. So we've added a new module. So we'll be adding on each series, we'll be adding a new module as we proceed. But we'll be doing actually an improvement of how we've structured some of the things to make it easier for us going forward. So if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing, comment down below, and even wait for more updates. See you in our next video. Bye.